How's it going right there, eh? It's Denis here from Danilo's Outdoors. Up at the woodlot, working on the cabin road. I haven't got to my cabin road yet. This is a bridge that we have, or a causeway, I guess. This is an old steel railway bridge that's laying on its side. And every spring, from the water washing through here, all the fine stuff, gravel, sand, and dirt and stuff gets washed down through. And so every spring or every summertime, I come through and I try to top dress it with rocks. Try to turn around here and get my shadow out of the picture here. Yeah, so I try to top dress it a little bit to obviously build the road up. The last time I was through here, right there, I had my dump trailer on, and I ripped a hole through the side of the tire on that steel bridge part, which kind of really sucked. Because the bridge is actually just wide enough for me to drive my trailer across. So the beavers have been damming it up on that end, as you can see, and every time when I dump a bunch of stuff in here and the rocks are too big, I kind of throw them over. And so over time, I'm hoping to build this up another foot or so. Obviously, the beavers keep damming it up, and the water level keeps rising, which, you know, I'm okay with. So eventually, as you can tell, the road, we just had some pretty good rain yesterday and last night. So, and then on top of that, with all of this water buildup, it gets a little soft in here. So over time, when I do have time, I want to build up behind the tractor and kind of all the way down towards that brook. And maybe later on, if I want to, I can build this up a couple of 3 feet. That way there, if this does come up. The only good thing is, I guess, is that that brook in this whole road ahead of me and behind me is really solid. So if there is a lot of water, it's not a big deal. I can drive through it. Yeah, so that's what I'm up to right now. I'm going to wrap this up here, and what I want to do is I'm going to my new cabin road, and the first culvert that I put in that kind of washed out, I'm going to concentrate on putting a bunch of dirt on there so that I can drive over it a lot easier. And then a little farther ahead of that, there's a lot of soft moss that I didn't rip out, and I'm hoping maybe today I'll get at ripping that out and then putting a whole bunch of gravel on it. Anyhow, that's the plan for now. I'll pause you for now, and I'll turn you back on when I get to that spot. Stand by. Okay, I'm back to that first culvert. As you can tell, obviously it washed out. It didn't wash out all the way, which is kind of good. And like I was saying in my last cabin road video, my plan was to come back here and put a good amount, like surcharge this, ramp this right up, and then build this right up here with rock to kind of make sure to stop any erosion or anything that was going on. And then also get in here with the backhoe and dig a good sump hole out of here. Because you put a sump hole right at the foot or at the edge of the inlet, and then any silt or anything that comes washes down fills that sump hole and doesn't fill your culvert pipe. As you can tell, the water's still trickling through here, which is good. Like I mentioned before, there's actually a lot of surface area, a lot of water that runs down through here. So I'm hoping today, my plan is to get quite a few loads in here, so at least I can drive over it easily. I may not ramp it up all the way right today because I want to get my dump trailer in here. So the plan is to fix this up good enough so I can drive in here with the truck and trailer, and that way I can fill it. What I'm doing right now is I'm filling a bucket, and just, you can barely see right through there, there's a birch tree. That's where I'm digging this dirt from right now. It's probably, I don't know, 100 yards. So it's not really far, but it does slow you down. So I'm hoping that if I get this road kind of built up a little bit so I can at least get in here. This is the spot right here, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters of this really swampy, boggy kind of, this is actually all moss. And this is the only section for some reason I didn't take out of here. So I have to kind of do that in sections. So I'll get this culvert here fixed up so I can drive over it, turn around, and then what I do is I pick up all this, scoop all this up with the backhoe part, and then cast it over as far as I can. And then I actually push it far over as I can. So do like a section here as far as I can reach. Then I'll turn around and then fill this up with gravel, and then just keep working my way that way so I don't sink out of sight. I'll maybe when I get turned around and I have the backhoe, I'll turn the camera on, just kind of showing a little bit of that. I won't do too much of it and bore everybody, but just so that you can get a better idea. Anyhow, that's it for now. I'm gonna get a couple loads on here, and I'll turn you back on here in a bit. Stand by. Okay, here I'm at the spot where I'm digging the dirt at, kind of like my gravel pit, I guess, and it's right at the intersection of my new cabin road. Like I said, once I get this opened up a little bit and I have the road in better shape, that I can at least get the truck and dump trailer in. That's what my plan is, so I don't have to keep traveling back and forth. So you can see at the very top there's probably, I don't know, 6-8 inches of really organic material with shrubs and trees, and so usually I scrape that all off, cast it over to one side, and I'll put it in one big pile, and then I'll pull down and loosen up any of the good gravel and try to put it on the other side of me. So obviously I use the gravel in the middle of the road. The soft material, trees and shrubs and that kind of junk, I usually will scoop that up with the front bucket and drive it down to the road, and I put it at the very edge of the roadway. It's kind of hard to explain, but unless I'm showing you. And what I do is I pile up all of that organic soft stuff, and I use that to hold back or sandwich in all the good gravel that I'm putting in on the road. So when I was working all my way through this cabin road, all this material that I didn't want, I would push over, cast over on both sides of the road in kind of mounds. And then when I put the good gravel in the middle, it wouldn't just all slough away and disappear. It kind of got held there by all of this other type of material. And then later on, obviously, hopefully half decent stuff will grow through it because it's all kind of topsoil, wood and stuff, and it'll all start breaking down. So that's kind of the plan. It seemed to work pretty good. Anyhow, I'll pause you here for now, and I'm just going to loosen this stuff up and keep hauling. See you in a bit. Okay, so I'm back there now. Still at the gravel pit. So right over here, I have a pile of, which I would call crap or organic stuff. That stuff that I ripped off the top, cast it over onto one side, and then all the good material, I cast it over onto the opposite side. So now I'll turn around and, wow, bugs are getting bad. I'll turn around and pick it up with the front bucket and then drive it and walk it down to the road. So in another video I was mentioning, so we have like a layer of organic, and that runs anywhere from 6 inches to a foot. And then after that, we usually have about 2 or 3 feet of sandy, earthy, kind of a sandy mix. And then after that, we usually have a foot or a couple of 2 to 3 feet of hard pan, pit run gravel, I kind of call it. And then after that, we usually hit bedrock. So that is actually starting to get pretty hard. I can rip through it and break through it, but I want to get all this material out of here, and then I can get in a little closer with the backhoe. And the rock that's in that also is kind of a strange looking. It looks like bedrock, but all broken up, like angular kind of granite. And it's a different color. It's kind of green and brown kind of mixed. But this is kind of what we're working with. My plan is this whole area along the side of the road looks like it was a landing or a log landing that they built. And I think what they did is they built that, and then they would put their machines up on top of that, skid all the logs down the mountain. And it's hard to tell, but that mountain is huge. It just keeps going. And then I think what they did on the side of the road right here, they would just park the logging trucks, and then they would just pick them up and put them on top of the trucks. Because you can see, and right in here I picked up, there's a bunch of leftover logs, and usually I just pick them up and throw them over. So they're just probably like the cuttings that they cut off the top of the tree, to shorten it up, the small part, and they just kind of discarded them and left them. So I kind of find that all through this area. So my plan is I'm eventually going to work my way through here, cut a pretty good size trench I get through here, so that I can back up my trailer right in this little slot, because I can drive right around up this road, drive right around up and through here, or the same way I can kind of come up this little loop. And my plan is hopefully, if I have to, I can dig up in this mountain and then just dump right into the dump trailer. Sometimes what I have is an issue is picking up the gravel and putting it into my dump trailer, because my front bucket can't reach high enough. So if I had my trailer backed in there, I'd have no problem going around and just dumping right in. And then if I wanted to, because we do have a lot of rocks, I would kind of make up one of those grizzly bars, kind of like a slanted thing with a bunch of rebar steel on it, so that when you dump the gravel, dump the dirt on it, the large rocks would roll one way, and then the good material would dump right into the trailer, and then all the rocks would pile up here. And then if I need rocks, I can come and get rocks. If I just want good type of pit run gravel, then it will go right in the trailer, because there is a lot of rocks here, like I mentioned before. Like, there's a rock right there that's probably 2 times the size of this tractor, and it's just out in the open. And it's like that all over the place here. Anyhow, I'm going to get turned around and then scoop this up, and then I'll turn you back on here in a bit. Stand by. Okay, so I'm back here at the culvert spot. I got some gravel on there now, and this is what I was trying to explain a while ago. So there's a section here of probably 4 or 5 meters that I did not take the organic material out of there for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyhow, the last time I drove through there, like I was saying, with my truck, it was really wet. So what I'm doing now is I'm just picking it up with the bucket. I get the machine off right now so I can talk. And then I throw it, I cast it over to the side. The bucket I have is not long enough to cast over as far as I want, so I'll dump this one right there, and then what I do is I just push it, and I just keep pushing, inching it forward. And then what I'll do is I'll swing over here and put some on this side. As you can see here, this is all organic material saw stuff, and it's drying out there now, but that was in the middle of the road. So I would throw it over there, and it's probably a foot higher than the base of the road right now. But over time, when I have a good gravel pit set up, then over the years, I'll just keep raising the level of the road to get it up to that height. And it'll stop all my gravel from sloughing off. It'll lock it all in one spot. That's kind of the plan. So now what I'll do is I'll do a section as far as I can reach, and then I'll turn around and go get the gravel with the front bucket, and then just fill this in. And maybe if I think of it, I'll show you. Usually I dump it in piles, probably like 2 piles thick and 2 or 3 piles wide, and then I knuckle my front bucket up, and then I use it almost like a blade of like a backhoe blade or dozer blade, and I push it, and then I'll turn and curl my bucket the other way and then back drag it, and it packs it pretty good. Anyhow, I'll pause this here for now and turn you on when I get this all straightened out. Stand by. Okay, so I'm back here. So it might be hard to tell. So the tractor is rolling there. So what I did is I dug out as much as that of that organic soft stuff that I could reach. I actually dug it pretty deep. So I took it all and casted it all over to the side. I actually put some over there, so I'm going to try to sandwich some on both ends of that culvert and then put rocks and stuff on them. So then I probably put, I don't know, 3 or 4 loads, front bucket loads of material. And so what I'll show you now is I'm going to start the machine. It's going to be loud, obviously. And I'm going to curl the bucket and then put the heel of the bucket down and push it like the front end of a dozer. And then I'll curl it and then back drag it. So I'll use the tip. So I'm going to use the heel and then the toe of it, of the bucket. So I don't know. I don't want to drag this video on quite a bit with this kind of stuff. But I looked on YouTube to see how to do this kind of road building stuff, and I couldn't really find anything on exactly what the person was doing. So I'm not a heavy equipment operator. My background, I am a civil engineering technologist, so I have taken the technical part of building roads, cutting and filling, and that's what I did up there. Obviously, that was a big slope running that way, so I cut all the material like a triangle and then put it on the low end. And basically that's cut and filling. There's a calculation that you can do beforehand with all the elevations of before the road and what you're going to put in, on knowing how much material you're going to have, what material you're going to need, and what you can use, type of thing. My background, like I said, is that, but I've been working mechanical ever since I got out of school in '88. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to start this up. It's going to get really noisy. I'm going to push this the way I was just telling you. And then basically all it is just repeating. And then I'll shut the video down, or I'll pause it. And then I'll probably show a finished part of it. And then after that, I'll do another video later on. Farther up here is where my corduroy section is, that I'm really pleased. It's turning out really good. I just have to go another 20-30 yards or so to finish it. Anyhow, that's what's going to happen there now. I'll start this up. I don't know how good I'm going to do being able to hold the camera and operate at the same time, but I'll try. Okay, stand by.